He said, "You still want to play Boogie Woogie?" I guess not. No more, Daddy. I don't want to play that no more. I just want to play for the Jesus, Daddy.
Hello, Black Hole. See this brother winning, man. Hey, hey, look, what is your win, babe? What is your win, babe? What is your win, babe?
Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, bells. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about Bobby Womack, my story from 1944 to 2014. My old man went to see the Soul Stirrers, told them he had us 5 boys, and asked if we could open up the show. They all got uniforms and they all dress alike, he told them. One of the guys said we should stick to Sunday school, but Sam wanted us to do it. He told us to get up there and work that house for him and the band. It was at the Friendship Baptist Church. We got up on stage and Sam came out from the wings and introduced us. There must have been over 1,000 people there. It seemed like it anyway, with standing room only. He told them, "We got a group of brothers, the Womack brothers. I want you all to give them a nice round of applause. We got to encourage them to sing gospel." Sam was on the gospel highway, so we got right on there with him. We started to tour the country, opening up for acts. Dad calling us the Womack brothers. Our harmonies blew people away, although often it was just 4 of us because Cecil, my youngest brother, wasn't in the picture just then. We started touring with a group called the Exp0zing. Let me tell you something. Y'all know that I'm a huge Aretha Franklin fan, okay? There are some voices that are extraordinary and just like no other. Of course, it would be The Voice, Whitney Houston, of course. Of course, it would be Aretha Franklin. But the next one is so underrated that it baffles me. Miss Mavis Staples' her voice is one of the most incredibly unique voices that I've ever heard in my life. It's like a raspy, wheezy voice, like Louise Jefferson type voice, and it just sounds so good. We started touring with a group called the Exp0zing, who had become big on the scene. They were a little older than us, but the girls were pretty. Their parents let them stay in the same bed as us. That's how young we were. Although I was starting to take notice of women by then. Notice he said women, he didn't say girls. He said women. The Staples family were very inspiring to me because I could see a different way of life. It wasn't like ours. The Staples drove around in a new Cadillac, which impressed me. And they had their own home where we could hole up between dates. Roebuck Staples, we called him Pops, was so different from my old man. Pops was always willing to take chances when all I heard from my father was, "You can't do it like that," or "Do it this way. That's my way." I wanted to do it another way. That be them controlling Pappie's child. They be thinking they be knowing everything, and for real, all they doing is just using their children as the vehicles. You know. And then Pappie, he got a problem with Uncle Grover, and Uncle Grover ain't saying nothing but the truth, that basically your Pappie is being pimped by the church, and your Pappie is pimping you. Where's the lie? Pops was also a great guitarist who recorded a lot of great gospel and soul recordings with a spiritual outfit called the Golden Trumpets and the Trumpets Jubilee. By the early 1950s, he rounded up 2 daughters, Cleotha and Mavis, and his son Purvis to form the Staple Singers. Pops and Mavis shared lead vocals. Ooh. We also ran into other families. Davis family out of Chicago, 5 Blind Boys of Mississippi, led by Archie Brownlee. There was another group on the circuit called the Blind Boys, but that outfit was the Blind Boys of Alabama. By 1944, the group was on the road, all pro, with Brownlee leading. They were getting noticed. When I was about 13, the Blind Boys hit Cleveland and put the word out that they didn't have a guitar player. And that's how I got to playing with them. They had a guy lead them out on stage, but that's all the help they needed. It was a big deal for me to get out there and groove alongside them because I learned a lot. Pretty soon, they asked my old man if they could take me to Chicago. Now, he felt sorry for them because they were blind, but those guys were hip. Man, they were fast as anyone with eyes, although I made sure I did the driving. Bobby. Child's always a Bobby. The couple of nights I went with them to Chicago turned into about 4 weeks out on the road. I hung out with the Blind Boys all across Ohio and beyond until the school truant officer caught up with my dad and called the cops on my ass. I got dragged back to Cleveland pronto. Of course, my old man threw a fit about that. Told, wait a minute, hold on. Is this the same Pappie that encouraged his boys to put school education second to the playing in the guitar on the stage? Is this the same Pappie? Because I'm confused. Why you so mad for, Dad? You wasn't worried about the truant officers before when I was out on the road playing the guitars for you? Me and my brothers, now all of a sudden that you're playing with the Blind Boys, now it's a problem? Of course, my old man threw a fit about that. Told Brownlee, you were only going to take Bobby to Chicago and then bring him right back. Man, I'm sure I saw Archie smile at that one. The record business came calling for the first time in 1954. It wasn't exactly Motown knocking. There was this guy called Snyder. The guy who supplied records to jukeboxes in the bars and clubs in our neighborhood around Central in Cleveland. They wanted to record us, but they told Dad they wanted to record us doing bebop. His father said, oh, bebop? Oh, no, not my sons. You got it messed up around here. We sing to the Jesus. That's all we sing around here. We're not about to have the hot pants and stuff and jiggling and jangling coming from my sons. No, that ain't going to happen. Child, the father is a trip. Hold tight. My father wasn't having that. He started yelling that we were true gospel and there was no way we'd sing anything but the Lord's music. One of the guys said he only wanted us to record a couple of tracks, and one of those was a little song called Buffalo Bill. My dad still said no. The guy put a few $100 bills on the table and asked if that would help. My dad said okay. Let me take a drink of my $5 strawberry juice water from Starbucks on that one. Didn't I tell you that father was a piece of work? Piece of work. He gonna continue to be a piece of work. Hold tight. But it being my old man, there was still a problem. Let me tell you why it was a problem. Because the old man wouldn't let the little boys record if the old man couldn't play guitar on the recording. You want my boys? Not only is you going to pay me these couple of $100, but I'm going to have to play with them on the record. Nigga, what? But it being my old man, there was still a problem. This guy had a whole bunch of seasoned pros ready to roll on the tracks, but Womacks Sr., he was pushing to get his own sound on the record. He insisted, sir, if you want this record to come out, I got to play my guitar on it. No me, no record. Selfish. Let me take another drink of this $5 water juice. We cut 2 tracks, and the record company guys counted out the 300 and handed them to Dad. We were on our way to riches. So we thought. The very next day, Snyder called up and told us someone had broken into the studio of his and stolen our tapes. Please. I thought that was the weirdest thing because it wasn't like a new cut by Sam Cooke, just a track by some young greenhorns. Of course, my daddy had the answer. I told you, He told us, still running the line that nothing good comes from music that didn't come with the preacher's blessing. You work with the devil and see what happens. Daddy, you wasn't on that devil music? Didn't you demand to be on that devil music with your sons? Okay, someone put that record out, only with a different group's name. So right from the start, I was ripped off. Funny thing was, around 30 years later, I opened my mailbox and out popped those tapes we did at Snyder's. We did earn on the circuit, though my father would take all the cash we earned to pay the bills. Put food on the table, get new shoes. That was fine, but I thought we weren't getting any place fast. I wanted to play rock and roll or boogie woogie. Daddy, I got something to say. I want to talk to you. The father said, oh yeah? What you want to talk about, son? I want to talk about change, Daddy. We need to get into some new things, Daddy. Change, huh? What you want to change, son? I want this to change to the boogie woogie, Daddy. I don't want to do the gospel no more, Daddy. I want to do the boogie woogie. He jumped up and started punching me like he was Muhammad Ali. Everywhere, from under my feet up to my nuts. He said, I'm going to boogie woogie your whole ass. He knocked me down and I screamed for him not to hit me no more. He said, you still want to play boogie woogie? I guess not. No more, Daddy. I don't want to play that no more. I just want to play for the Jesus, Daddy. Just the Jesus. They were all on the floor laughing. And my old man picked me up and threw me down with them. You get that out your mind, he said. You ain't going nowhere. I promised God y'all going to serve him. So he said to all his sons, now what you going to do? They all said in unison, serve the Jesus. But it wasn't that simple. Sam Cooke was already doing well with rock and roll, and he knew it was the key. It was going to enable him to cross over for mostly black audiences to become big in all parts of town, black and white. But it wasn't that simple. Sam Cooke was already doing well with rock and roll, and he knew it was the key. It was going to enable him to cross over from mostly black audiences to become big in all parts of town, black and white. That was the future, he told us, and we trusted him. Sam explained how it worked. Bobby, he asked, you ever been to a white church? You going into a white church, the preacher is preaching. The people just sit there and look, say amen, and church is over for a day. It was the same for a white funeral. You go to a white funeral, he told me, maybe a woman is sobbing a bit, then they go home, just quiet, respectable, and everything is back to normal. But in a black funeral, that was different, Sam said. Mama is crying. She is trying to get into the casket. People are trying to pull her out. It's just like a circus. Then go to a black church and people are shouting all over the place. His point was, there were two cultures and they were totally different. They look at us and think fucking crazy. He said, we are different, so until we bridge the gap, they are not going to understand you, singing and screaming like James Brown. Sam's game was to teach the whites to scream and shout. Believe me, it's not that they can't, he claimed. It's just that they have never been taught. Genius. No wonder you ladies was hunching and screaming and crying all over the Sammy Cookie. Now, I know you like, Nay, don't disrespect Sam Cooke. Don't disrespect. Sammy Cookie disrespected himself. Because don't forget, we done read the Aretha Franklin book. And it's always speculations out there that her first child, when she was 12, is by the Sammy Cookie. Okay. From where us kids were standing, Sam and his rock and roll brothers looked like they had life mapped out. But the church wouldn't take it, lying down. The preachers continued to warn us that any man who switched from serving God to serving the devil with his rock and roll tunes had something coming. We thought that they were right. In 1958, Lou Rawls, one of the silkiest singers around and a high school classmate of Sam's, was in an auto accident. He, his band, and the Pilgrim Travelers and Sam had been touring the South when the smash happened. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves you. You babies, have a good one. Peace.